Sir, please share your screen, sir.
Are you able to see, sir?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. 2 minutes, sir. We will start, sir. Yes, sir. You are visible, sir. Sir, not visible, sir. Sir. Somu, sir. Hello.
సరే సార్ సార్ ఒకవేళ నెట్ ఏమన్నా ఉంటే నాకు మెసేజ్ పెట్టండి ఇమీడియట్గా వాట్సాప్.
ఓకే సార్, ఓకే ఓకే. A very good morning to everyone presented here. So welcome to the AICT IST sponsored 6 days online induction fresher program on business intelligence and big data analytics, which is conducting from 9 to 15 December 2021. So I am here with a brief profile of Dr. J. Somsekhar Garu. So he is received a PhD degree in computer science and engineering from JNTU Anantapuramu, Andhra Pradesh in 2017, and his degree from National Institute of Technology, Karnataka, Surathkal in 2010. So he is currently working as a professor and head at CSE department, Gopalam Engineering College and Management, Bangalore. So he is an active resource person from AICT FDPs, AICT FCTPs, and Atal FDPs, ISC FDPs, national webinars, and has completed nearly 48 sessions as a resource person or speaker across India in 7 states. And he got All India rank of 43 in the GATE, which is a very reputed entrance examination for many of the central government jobs and other resources, where we are going. He got 98.4 percentile. He has more than 14 years of experience in teaching and 6 years of experience in research. Besides, he he is a trainer for GATE exam since 2011. He has published 23 research articles in leading journals like HCI and Scopus Index, conference proceedings, and 2 international textbooks chapters. He is having 154 citations with an H index 7 for his research publication. He is a reviewer for reputed international journals, a Scopus international conferences, and session chair for 3 international conferences and guest editor for 3 journals. He is also a visiting professor for data science PG course at KU Government University, Kerala. He also received Innovative Collaborative Researcher Award in Medical Imaging for research collaboration with Dr. Ching Hao Lai, Director, ITRI, Taiwan by WRC in association with United Medical Council. So he has conducted various FDPs, AICT, STTPs, SDPs, national conferences, workshops, and national webinars as a convener, coordinator. His current research interests include image processing, machine learning, big data analytics, and ML for cybersecurity. So I am concluding this brief introduction of Dr. J. Somsekhar Garu. So very good morning, everyone. Let's have the session today.
Okay, thank you, sir. Thank you for introduction.
Thank you.
Yeah. So good morning to all the participants and all the faculty members. So coming to today's session, regression analysis in data analytics with applications and research directions. So first we will see the agenda of today's session. After that we will see in detail one by one the topics what we are going to discuss in today's session. So coming to today's session agenda, of course we have 90 minutes time. We'll try to cover maximum, including some of the hands-on session by using R programming also. So I'm not going to explain in depth, at least basic. Maybe those who are beginners for R programming, hope it will help, and you can practice after the session so that you can go be expert in that respective language. So first we will see what is predictive analytics and regression analysis and applications, because regression analysis comes under predictive analytics. And what is regression analysis and what is the basic idea, what are the applications, we will discuss in detail. And intuition of linear regression. So actually wherever if you take textbooks or materials, directly formula followed by examples, and we have to find the regression line based on that how to predict the future value. But my concept is what is exactly beyond this linear regression, and what is the mathematical intuition, and based on that how to derive the linear regression, and hence how to find the forecasting or predictive value. So that is the main intention. We can find a little bit of mathematics and partial differential equations, all those things. It's quite interesting because most of the what I said materials you can find only formula based problems only, but I will explain in detail intuition, maybe graphical representation as well as mathematical model, derivation, everything I'll explain. So once if you understand this mathematical intuition, the advantage is whatever I'm going to explain, same thing is applicable for other types of regressions also. We have various types of regressions. So linear regression, multiple regression, and polynomial regression, logistic regression, sigma regression, and logarithmic regression, exponential regression. Like that, we have a lot of regression types are available. So for all those things, we can apply same intuition only, similar intuition. The concept is same, but the derivation is different. So that is the advantage of this, what we are going to discuss in today's session. And case studies or research directions by using linear regression. What are the case studies? I will take latest trend like COVID-19 cases prediction, how we are going to do. Even I will show some of the standard publications along with data set also, benchmark data set. Those who are interesting to do research on that, you can take that help so that you can download the benchmark data sets. There we have updation of each and every day COVID cases up to yesterday. Suppose if you refer that website, we can find number of COVID cases of entire world. Country wise, we can find up to yesterday. So that is the benchmark data set, and we can apply for your research, not only for regression, maybe any other research also. And R programming hands-on. So I'm also not that much expert in R programming, but whatever we are going to discuss for linear regression or maybe other regressions, so for that we will see R programming. I will show how to download R programming and R Studio. After that, we will go for a small experiment on regression also. I will show how to predict the value also. And finally, we'll see what are the resources for that, whatever we are going to discuss, so that it will help to you to refer more. Because with this 19 minutes, we can't cover most of the concepts because of time constraint. So that's why still, if you are looking for research side, or maybe if you are looking for concentrating on this area, so I will show some of the resources. So based on that, you can gain knowledge, and you have to put a lot of efforts. Maybe you can put slowly also, no issue, but you have to put huge amount of efforts. Based on that, you will be expert in that respective domain. So with this brief agenda, now I will move to the today's session, and we'll discuss one by one in detail, and so that you can understand what is happening and how we are going to implement by using R programming also. So coming to predictive analytics, so we are talking about data analytics. That is the objective of this session. I mean FDP, or refresher program. So here, when you go for predict analytics, the concept is very simple. So what we have to do is we have to analyze, because we are in the big data era. So everywhere we are talking about data. If we take machine learning, if we take artificial intelligence, if we take deep learning, if we take natural language processing, or if we take computer vision, whatever it may be, if we take data is very, very important. That's why nowadays data is equal to money. So almost everywhere we have data. So we have to do some processing. We have to protect by using some cyber security techniques, all those things. So that's why we have a data. So that whatever it may be, current data and past data, maybe whatever previous data. Now based on that, we have to take the future value. So that is the basic idea of predictive analytics. By using that, we have to predict the future value. Hence, we can go for decision making. For example, if we take up to today number of COVID cases we know, now I have to predict how many number of COVID cases tomorrow by using some of the models. So whatever data available, current and past data, I can predict future value. Tomorrow, let us assume the number of cases are only 2 in the Karnataka. So we can take a decision, okay, that is not a big number, so no need to take any precautions. So that is the decision. Suppose the number of cases are maybe tomorrow 1,500 or maybe 2,000. So obviously there is a drastic increment or maybe increasing in the COVID cases. Immediately we have to make a decision in such a way that we have to take immediately action such a way that we have to improve the number of doctors, or we have to improve, increase the number of beds, and we have to give proper precautions to all the hospitals. And even for patients also, you should be careful. We have to maintain social distance, all those things. These type of decisions we can make. So that is the basic idea of predictive analytics. Not only predictive analytics, machine learning, deep learning, everywhere. All these things are a little bit overlapping. So that is the advantage of these concepts. When you go for machine learning also, it will come. When you go for deep learning also, we can use. When you go for big data analytics also, we can use. When you go for data science also, you can use. So maybe some little bit additional topics it will add. So but rest all things are almost similar only. Now here, let us assume we collected data here. You can see the collection data. We have to clean the data. So we collected the data, we have to clean that data. So if the data set is not benchmark, we have to clean that data. What does it mean is sometimes some of the data is missing. So we have to fill that value, that is called imputation. So for that, we have to go for one important concept that is called exploratory data analysis. In data science, maybe of course analytics also we can use. So this is called EDA, exploratory data analysis. By using that, we can impute the missing values. Maybe sometimes the data set is imbalanced. So maybe especially when you go for healthcare applications, so data set should be balanced. Imbalanced means suppose whatever data I have, all the patients data is COVID negative, then when new patient coming for testing, then obviously you'll get negative only, because whatever data I have, everything is negative cases only. So in such situations, it is very difficult to go for prediction. That's why the data set should be balanced. So like for example, 60 positive, 40 negative cases, or maybe 50-50. So it should be a little bit equally normal distribution. It should follow normal distribution. Otherwise, what happens? So the prediction is difficult to go for exactly. So it leads to sometimes negative prediction. Instead of positive COVID, you will get negative, or instead of negative, you will get positive. So that's why this exploratory data analysis plays a vital role. There we have to clean data, or maybe we have to take care of other issues. So based on that, we can go for a further step, that is called model. So we can make a model. So here we can identify the patterns, or maybe we can make a model. So finally we can go for make prediction. Once if we get a model, let us assume the model for our regression analysis is, let us assume x plus 2. So now I want to find the value of y at x equal to at a point 15. Then substitute x equal to 15. So 15 plus 2, 17. So this is the prediction. So that is the final prediction. And based on this prediction, we can go for decision, whatever it may be decision. So that is taken care by the respective department, or maybe specialist. Suppose if you take rainfall, so maybe that weather forecasting department will take care. So depends on the y value, or maybe related to healthcare, that the specialist or maybe respective doctor will take care. Like that, the decision is left to the specialist, but our aim is to predict the value. So based on the various models, it may be regression, or it may be other type of models in the data analytics. So based on that, we have to find the prediction. So the basic idea of predictive analytics is we have to analyze the current and past data, and based on that, we have to make a model. Hence, we have to predict the future value, hence followed by decision taking. So here you can see, so here we are focusing on regression analysis. You can see here, of course, time series model also, that is very, very important in deep learning, that is called LSTM, or so many other models also available. So by using that, we can go for time series model. That means next 1 month, we can find what are the COVID number of cases, like tomorrow, day after tomorrow. Here regression means tomorrow, next again we have to give input, day after tomorrow, like that we can find. So that's why we have ARIMA model, LSTM model, all those things available in the deep learning. So there, by using that, we can go for forecasting. There is also obvious object is forecasting. Regression also forecasting, time series model also forecasting. So these are all comes under predictive analytics. So this is a basic idea what I explained just now. So historical data and predictive algorithms, whatever it may be algorithms. I said LSTM, or maybe regression models, or maybe ARIMA model, etc. So we have to make a model. So then whenever if we make a model, let us assume, so some data is available. Let us assume what we can call it as a GDP. So GDP, country GDP, I have to find. So some data is available last 10 years, or etc. I want to make a model. Let us assume x equal to x plus 1 is a model, my model. And whenever new data, if I give in place of x, we can go for prediction. So the model, what we found from the given data, whatever data available, historical data, x plus 1, the new data, if we substitute x equal to 10, we can find the prediction. So that is the basic idea here, what we discussed so far. So same thing for machine learning, also same thing we are applying. So we have data, that is just like we have to train here. This comes under training phase. So this is a training, so learning. So the machine will learn. So that is training phase. Then this is nothing but testing phase. So whenever if you new data, we have to go for prediction. That is called predictive cases. We have to predictive. This is called learning. This is predictive. We can call it as technically. So this is predictive. Sorry, learning phase. This is predictive phase. So we have to predict the value of y. Depends on the application. So So here basically in machine learning we have supervised, unsupervised, etc. Reinforcements. So here we are focusing on regression only. Of course, that's why I said always this is a part of data analytics, machine learning, deep learning. Although this almost the concept is same only. So when you go for regression, we are finding the continuous value or numeric value. When you go for classification, we are classifying categorical values or binary classification. Whenever patient visits a doctor, we have to classify whether the person having COVID-19 or not, binary classification. Or whenever patient visited the doctor, we have to classify what type of cancer. It may be brain cancer or blood cancer or lung cancer. These are all categorical values. So we can go for classification. It may be binary or categoricals. Anyhow, this is not a scope of our today's session. So we are focusing on regression. So whenever if we have a square feet, beds, bathrooms, so these are the house prices available. So whenever if we have a square feet like this, number of beds and number of bathrooms, we have to predict what is the value of house. So that is a continuous value or numeric value that we have to predict. So always it is numeric value, whereas in classification it is a categorical or binary values. So that's why this is the input, and we have to make a model and we have to predict the value that is called y. So our aim, but the basic idea of our predictive analytics is to predict the value of y. Now we'll come to the next one, regression analysis. So here the basic idea is very simple. What we have to do is, so we have x variable or maybe x, y variable. So x is, let us assume 1, 2, 3. So let us assume this is day 1, day 2, day 3. Let us assume the rainfall is 4 centimeters, 5 centimeters, 9 centimeters. So this is the data available. The objective of regression analysis is to establish the relation between these two variables. So x is called independent variable, or we can call it as a predictor, and y is called dependent variable, or we can call it as a response variable. So that means, so when whatever x value, let us assume, maybe if we have multiple regression, so we have x1, x2, x3. So based on this, we have to find the response. Response variable is always 1. So, and maybe independent variables are 1 or more than 1. If we take more than 1, it is multiple regression. If we have one variable, we can call it as a linear regression. So our aim is to establish the relation between x and y. Based on that, we can go for a response value. Whenever if I give new x value, let us assume I have to give new x value, let us assume 6 here. So based on that, we have to find the y value. Or maybe I have to give 10 here. Based on that, we have to. But for this, we have to make a model. So when you go for learning phase, we have to make a model. By using that model, we have to substitute x value, you will get y value. So that means we have to establish the relation between the independent and dependent variable. The independent variable may be 1 or more than 1. So it depends on the application. Once it will get, suppose if we take independent variables more than 1, so we have to go for x1, x2, xn like that. So finally, so we have to find the value of y, that means response value for the given input variables. So especially this is useful for forecasting. When you go for weather forecasting, let us assume I have to find what is the weather forecasting tomorrow. Maybe if you take Andhra or maybe Rayalaseema, now we are in the struggling of heavy rains. Maybe we have different types of tufans. So if you want to predict that one, obviously government will inform immediately tomorrow possibility for heavy rains. Hence, you have to take proper precautions. People also will understand. So immediately they will go for proper places. For example, if you take recently, one thing happened in near Tirupati Royal Tiru, that dam. So most of the people left the villages and they went to safety places because of that reason. So we can save the lives of the people, even we can save the property, all those things. So how is possible? The weather forecasting department indicated that tomorrow there is a possibility for heavy rains. Hence there is a big issue problem, or maybe there is a issue because of this Raleigh Cheruvu. So hence we have to take care properly. So in that case, hence people will take care proper precautions. So for this type of case, we have to go for forecasting, or maybe COVID-19 cases. I will show some of the research papers of COVID-19 cases published in recent times. So by using regression, how we have to find the number of deaths or maybe number of COVID cases. Based on that, how effectively we can predict also. I will show some of the papers published in elsewhere at end of the session as a research directions or case study. Like that, we can go for weather forecasting or prediction of number of cases, or maybe country GDP we can find, or we can identify how many number of students going to pass in the department or college. Like that, we can go for forecasting or prediction by using this regression analysis. So that's why, so we have to analyze the data, hence we have to make a model, hence we can predict the future value. So here always the response variable is only one. So it will take continuous value or numeric value. Whereas in classification, it will take categorical values or maybe binary values like true or false like that. So this is the basic idea behind this regression analysis and classification. And it's a simple example. If we take here, this black color indicates the actual data. This red one is nothing but predicted one, predicted line. So that means here, see, almost both are overlapping. Let us assume, so here actual red indicates, let us assume black here. Actual value is 10, the red color indicates 9.8. So here black, let us assume actual value is 20, the red color value is 19. So that means almost both are same. Let us assume here no data is available. So black data is available. Maybe today, let us assume today I want to find, let us assume number of cases of COVID or maybe something else. So 13, 12. So here or maybe tomorrow I have to find 14, 12. So up to today available. That means there is no black color, but we have to, based on the red color, so I can identify here 36 is possible. So based on that, we can go for decision making. So that means, so here by finding this regression line, obviously both are overlapping. That means black is actual data points, red is predicted data points, estimated data points. Based on that, we can find the future value. Maybe tomorrow I can find, because tomorrow there is no black color here, but red color I know that is the regression line, what I estimated based on the historical data. Hence, we can predict this value. So 36, maybe if we take number of cases in Tirupati is 36, okay, a reasonable number. Or maybe number of COVID cases are, let us assume 10,000 or 1,000, then there is a big issue. We can go for proper decision. So the decision making is left to the expert. So that is another issue. So, but our aim is to predict the value. So this is a basic idea of regression line, that forecasting. Maybe same thing applicable for time series analysis also if you go for LSTM, other models. Here you can see, so ads and revenue. So this you can see the ads and revenue. Suppose if you want to find, let us assume somewhere new data here, let us assume I want to find new data, then we can predict the value of revenue. That means we can find the what is the revenue generating maybe irrespective X value. So later we will see in detail how we got this regression line, what is R square, what is the significance of R square, how to find this regression line. All those things I'll explain in detail, no need to worry. Even don't worry about this graphical representation also. I'll explain in detail so that you can understand exactly what is happening beyond this regression. And it is quite interesting because a lot of mathematics also involving here, and even partial differential equations, derivations, all those things. So I'll explain in detail. This slide just indication for, so whenever radio ads and revenue is available, if I want to give next month, I can find what is the revenue possibility to generate. That is our objective. But this graphical representation, don't worry. So how we have to make and what is that blue color, red color dots, all those things I'll explain in detail with mathematical intuition. And also R square, what is R square? And that is one of the evaluation measure for model, that is called regression model. So how we are going to evaluate also I will show with case studies and examples. Even recent publications in the Elsevier also, R square measure plays a vital role, and how we have to evaluate also I will show examples. So with this brief introduction, so just I think you will get over, so far whatever we discuss, at least you will get overview. So overview is only one thing is prediction. So we have to go for forecasting, and how we have to make a model and how to forecast. Now we will see in detail. So regression based model. So this is what we are going to discuss in rest of the slides. So this is the motivation. So you can see, so predictive modeling of COVID confirmed cases in Nigeria. So because we are talking about predictive modeling only, predictive analytics only. So this paper I will show, and how we have to apply regression analysis for finding the number of confirmed cases or forecasting, or maybe find the number of deaths possibility for maybe tomorrow, like that. So that is called predictive modeling of COVID-19 cases, confirmed cases in Nigeria. So this is published in Elsevier, and we are talking about predictive modeling. That's why I took this paper. And one more, this is Indian authors. So this is also linear regression analysis to predict the number of deaths in India. This is published in last year. So both papers published in Elsevier only. So I'll show both papers with how we are applying and what are the evaluation measures they considered for these regression analysis or regression models. All those things I explain, and it will motivate you to do some research on this area also. Maybe not only COVID, maybe other application you can take. So I'm showing this recent pandemic situation. maybe other application also you can take and you can apply. So procedure, everything is same, but only thing is data set is different. That is the advantage of this machine learning, predictive analytics or data analytics, whatever it may be. The models are same, the data set is different. Maybe with some fine tuning, you can go for more accurate results. That is the advantage what we are going to discuss in this data analytics. Now we will see what are the different types of regression models we are going to use. So one is a linear regression model. Whatever papers I have shown in the previous slide, so there they applied linear regression model. Even though the name indicates it's a very simple, but is a powerful linear model, a regression model based on that how to predict the future value or how to forecast the future value by analyzing the historical data and current data. So that is the first one, linear regression. This I will explain in detail. Don't worry about that, whatever I written here. So it's a simple function, y equal to mx plus c only. And next one is polynomial regression. We have polynomial in terms of x square like that. And we have one more, this is called multiple regression model. In multiple regression model, difference is in linear regression, we have only one independent variable like x, y. So x is independent variable, y is dependent variable. When you come to the multiple regression, we have more than one independent variable. Let us assume x1, x2, x3, and y like that. So, but model is same only, y equal to mx plus c, but here mx1 plus m2 x2 plus m3 x3 plus c like that. So that is the model here we are going to, that means whatever intention or intuition we are going to apply for linear, same thing we can apply for other regressions also. That's why if you understand one intuition, we can apply for entire regression model, same thing only. So maybe a small minor changes we have to do, but rest of the basic idea is same only. So just I'm checking casually because sometimes the net will go automatically. Sometimes. Because yesterday I think I gave one of the talk in one university. There are also some issue with net always. That is 4 hours talk. Yeah. So multi-regression means we have more than one independent variable, and we have logarithmic regression, and we have power regression, exponential regression, ridge regression. Like that, so many types of regressions are there. Just I'm showing few regressions here. Now, but in whatever number of types of regressions we have, even some of the regressions are missing, but so many types are there. Still regression is there, logistic regression is there. Of course, logistic is useful for classification, but that is also one type of regression. So, but the basic idea is same. Whatever we are going to discuss for linear, same thing applicable for all the types of regressions. And derivations also same for finding the constant values. That means slope and intercept values, all those things. So applications, we already discussed so many applications also. So like if you want to find the price of the house, so already we know square feet, size in square feet. Suppose if the size in square feet is, let us assume 1800. So we have to make a model for this data, and if you put x value is 1800, you can find the price. So that is the advantage here. And maybe number of our study exam score, we can make prediction by using the model. Or economic growth, so country GDP we can find, already I said. So so far we know what is the GDP of the country. Now I can predict next year GDP. Suppose if the GDP is very less, then immediately I can take some of the policies to increase the GDP. So that's why regression is very important for this type of GDP prediction, or maybe finance sector also for prediction the what we can call it as a stock exchange. So stock exchange, we have to predict the stockholders price, or maybe we can call it as a different companies we have, maybe their stock price, or maybe blockchain, what we can call it as a Bitcoin prices. All those things we can predict based on these models. Even product prices, house sales, all those things. We have so many applications for this. Now we know, so regression various models, but we are going to discuss one important model, that is intuition, and after that how we are going to apply that we are going to discuss. And this is the data set we are going to use for our research. If you have anyone interesting also, you can go through this website that is called Our World Data. So in this website, you can find the coronavirus source data up to yesterday. You can find, suppose if you want to check only India, you can download that Excel sheet. Country wise available, all the countries in the world. So you can check it. So there we can download this benchmark data set. Why I'm telling benchmark data set means no data is missing here. Suppose if you go for some of the data sets in maybe some of the repositories, there maybe you can miss some of the values, but in this website you can find proper data, and that you can utilize for your research purpose, or maybe any publications if you are planning, you can apply for that. Anyhow, later I will show publications also on this, and maybe you can tune some parameters, maybe you'll get more accurate results also. So that I will explain in detail later also. And the data set looks like this. If we go for this our world data, so what I'm shown here, so the data set looks like this. So here country wise, you can see here country Europe, and maybe and India also. If you expand this Excel sheet, it is very big Excel sheet. You can find 2-3 lakhs records. So India also available, and you can find number of cases, number of deaths, and maybe average. It's like that. So many columns are there, but depends on the application. You can choose whatever columns we require. Let us assume number of cases for you required sufficient, or if you are looking for number of cases, number of deaths, number of cases per million, all those things. These are all like we have headings here. So this is number of cases per million, number of cases for Karnataka, number of cases for Bangalore, like that. Different headings are there. You can go through that. Those who are interesting to do something on this. So based on that, we can make a model. Hence, we can go for predict. So maybe sometimes we have to predict number of deaths also based on the number of cases what available so far. So for that also, you can take that independent variable. Even number of cases per million also available, number of cases per 2 millions, like that. Very neatly they made this Excel sheet. So complete information is available for all the countries of the world. That's why the data set is very big. So maybe 2-3 lakhs records we have. You can go through that, so you can understand exactly what is inside. So now we will see the main concept, second part. So we discussed just what is predictive analytics, and regression analysis we discussed, applications we discussed, and some data sets I shown. So now we will see intuition of linear regression. So what is actually how to make a model? We have data, how to make a model. If you go for Python program or R program, there is no issue for making a model. We have simple function. If you take R programming, we have a simple function. Let us assume ELM. So this is a simple function linear model. So here you can write y, so cap symbol x, comma data equal to data set name, or maybe data name. So data name here, you will get it will train a model. I mean, it will learn a model, and it will make a model y equal to 2x plus 4. It's very simple, but exactly what is happening we don't know. So just by hearting formula or maybe model and applying and executing, it won't give any advantage for you. Maybe you'll get output, but if someone will ask how we got, what is the intuition, all those things, so it is difficult to explain. That's why if you don't know formula also, if you know intuition, you are able to explain properly. And same thing you can apply for other types of regressions also. So that is the main advantage. And you can see the beauty of mathematics when you come to the predictive analytics or machine learning. So I already said, when you come to the simple linear regression, we have only one independent variable. Multiple linear regression means we have multiple independent variables like x1, x2, x3, so on. It depends on the application. I'm looking for maybe only 1x, 1y, then we can go for linear regression. I'm looking for more than 1x. Of course, response variable y is always 1 only. In that case, we have to go for multiple linear regression. The number of independent variables are more than 1 here. And slopes or intercepts, all those things we will discuss later. So now here we require the intuition. There we require, these are the basics: scattered plot or scattered graph. So this is the data available. You can see here x and y. So x is age and y is pages something. And we have to make a graphical representation. Age is x-axis, and y is PG pages is nothing but y-axis. And when x equal to 14, corresponding y value is 40. So that means here this is a 14, and corresponding value is this one. This is 40, and this is 40. So that is the meaning. And similarly, if we take something here, let us assume 63. This is 63. This is 171. 171. Dilip sir, can you mute all the participants, sir? All the participants are requested to mute, please. It will disturb for others also.
Yes, sir, I will mute, sir. Sorry. Hello?
Yeah. So thank you, sir. So here we have the values of x and values of y. Just we have to make a graphical representation. Just this is called scatter diagram and a scattered graph. So we require this graph because we are looking for x and independent variable, y variable. Just we have to make a scatter diagram. So this is the initial step for the given data. Now we made a diagram for the some data. Let us assume here x values are available. Let us assume I am assuming x value, y value, and 1, 2, 3, something 5, 6, 7. So we have to make a scatter diagram. Now, based on this data, we have to find a regression line that is called function. So linear function. So like this. So later I'll explain in detail. Let us assume I made a function like this. And what happens because of this function? Let us assume the function is y equal to 2 plus 3x. But still we don't know how to find this 2 plus 3x. Don't worry. I'll explain in detail for the slides. So let us assume this is the line that is called regression line. So suppose I want to find the value of y at x equal to 10. Then this point is nothing but y value. So you can see whatever point touches the line, let us assume here. So you can see here this one. This is nothing but y value. So you can see in the next diagram, you can this is y value corresponding to x value, or maybe this is y value corresponding to x value. Suppose here 10 x value, here maybe 100. The value of y corresponding to 10 is 100. But the question is how to find this line. Maybe I'm assuming like this. Maybe someone will assume like this. Maybe someone will assume like this. Maybe someone will assume like this, or maybe someone will assume like this. Like that, we have infinite number of lines possible here. But which is the best one, or which we have to choose so that we can go for more accurate prediction? That is the question here. So for that we should know the intuition. Otherwise, simply like this making model is not a issue, because of okay, this is the line or maybe regression model which is close to the data points, fine. But how to make a model? Maybe some other model may be still very close to these data points. Then how to make? So that is the question here. So for that we will see the solution. And whenever if I take, we have data line, data points, and whatever data points x here and y here, and maybe these are all y values. Whatever x value corresponding to y value corresponding to x, y value corresponding like that. These are all data points. And if any data point I'm giving, let us assume 20, I have to find the value of y. So for that we have to make this regression line. And after substitution you can find. But we don't know how to make this line because we have so many cases possible. So these are the data points. If we take GRE score, CGPA, we have various data points are there. I'm looking for what is the GRE CGPA for the GRE score 3.3 to 8.32. So here maybe 9 point or maybe 9.5. How to find? Because we have various data points. So for that, what we have to do is we have to make a regression line. So we have to find a best fit regression line so that we can find accurate value of CGPA for given GRE score. So the question I already said. So we have different lines. This is the data points we have. Maybe you can see here various regression lines possible, various lines possible. So various lines means maybe one line is, let us assume 2 plus 3x, or one line is, let us assume 4 plus 5x, or maybe one line is 6 plus 9x. Like that, we have infinite number of lines possible. Of course, all the lines are touching x-axis. Whenever if you find y value, substitute x value, we can find. That is fine. But we have so many lines are there. Which line we have to find? That is the question. So here we have to go for residue concept. So based on that, we have to minimize the error, and hence we can find the best fit regression line. Now the question is how to find the best fit regression line. Hence, how to find the constant values, or maybe we can call it as a y-intercept and slope value. So for that, I'll use clearly here the logic, what I'm going to explain here. You can see, so this is the x-axis and this is the y-axis. And I am assuming this is the regression line. Just I am assuming this is the regression line. And I'm using some other color, black color. So these are the actual data points. This is one data point, and this is one data point, and this is one data point which touches the regression line. And this is one data point, this is one data point. So these are the data points we have. Try to understand. So this is x-axis, this is y-axis. Simply I'm assuming some line. I'm assuming, let us assume this is nothing but y equal to, so 3 plus 4x. 3 is the intercept, y-intercept, and 4 is nothing but slope. So this is y-intercept somewhere here. This is 3. This is the y-intercept, and 4 is the slope. And here now we know data points. Now after by using regression line, so I'm using some other color, maybe blue color. So here let us assume these are the this is the predicted data point, and this is the predicted data point, and this is the, both are same here, and this is the predicted data point, this is the predicted data point. So that means here meaning is, I'm writing here, you can see here, x value, y value, y cap. Y cap is nothing but predicted, so that is nothing but 3 plus 4x, or maybe a plus bx. So y equal to a plus bx. This is the predicted one. X is 1, 2, 3. I'm taking simple data point. This is 5. This is 6. This is 7. And predicted data points is, let us assume. So here I'm assuming, let us assume 6. Let us assume. Here I'm assuming, let us assume 7. Here I'm assuming 9, like this. So this is the actual data points, y value. This is the predicted data points. Now you can see here 5 instead of that 6 we predicted, 6 instead of that we predicted 7, 7 instead of that we predicted 9. Now that means here this is called error. So that means whenever if I take this is actual value, this is called actually, this is predicted value, that is called y1 cap, and this is, or maybe y2, let us assume y2, this is y2, and this is y1 actual value, this is predicted value y1 cap, and this is both are same, y2 y3 both are same, y3 cap y3 both are same, no issue. And this is y4 cap, and this is y4. You can see here the cap is, this is nothing but actual value, black color is indicates actual value, and this cap indicates predicted value. The cap indicates, so predicted value. Now we can see the difference. So whenever if I take difference, that is called residue. So I'm using some different color, green color I'm using. You can see the difference. So this actual point, this one. So this actual point, this one, we have some difference. So that is called residue. So this is called residue, or we can call it as a error. So we can call it as a error. So why I'm telling this one, I made random regression line, but my question is whether it is a perfect regression or not. If not, how to make a perfect regression line? That is my question here. That for that I'm giving reason what is happening exactly. Now we got error. Now whenever if I take error, so here 5, 6 error is 1, 6, 7 error 1, 7, 9, 2 error. So but means the actual point is y, the predicted points are y cap. Obviously some variation is there. So is it possible to minimize? Instead of 6, maybe I can try to find 5.1. So, and instead of 7, I can make 6.5, and instead of 7, I can make 7.1. So if I'm trying to find like this predicted value, then what happens? The error is very less. So actual value is 5, predicted value 5.5, or actual 6, predicted 6. But here what we have 6, 7, 9. We have a little bit error more. So that means our aim is to minimize the error. So for that, what we have to do, we have to find the error. Error means residue. Error equal to actual value minus predicted value. This is the first step. We have to find the error. So that is called actual value minus predicted value. So predicted value means our regression line. 1 second. And I'm in session. Can I call back? Thank you. Sorry. So error means actual value, predicted value. Suppose my marks are 35 and predicted marks are 30. The error is 5 marks. That is called residue or error. Now we have to minimize the error. For that, what we'll do, we'll try to make some, let us assume E1, E2, so on, En. So this error I'm trying to minimize. So En, this is the error I'm trying to minimize. If you minimize the error, then you will get more accurate prediction. But the question is, if we just minimize the error, what happens here? You can see first time error is negative. So actual value, predicted value, I'm getting negative. Let us assume -2. Next I'm getting positive. And next I'm getting negative. Next I'm getting positive. Let us assume. If we make some, what I'm getting 0. So actually we have error variation, but when we make some, we are getting 0. It does not mean the model is perfect. What happens here? Negative error also we have to take, positive error also we have to take. But when you make some, I'm looking for overall model, I'm getting 0 error. It does not mean the model is perfect. So that means there is some issue here. What we have to do, because of negative, positive, we are getting 0. Instead of that, if we make a square, let us assume -2 square and +4 square and minus 4 whole square. Then if you make a square, then you will get some error. Let us assume 16 is the, this is called sum of squares of error. You will get 60. So that means here I'm getting sum of squares of error. Just I want to make a square. That means let us assume one error is d1 square. Next is dt square. That is the difference or error. So this is called sum of squares of error. That we can call it as a sum of squares of error, or we can call it as a residue sum of square, RSC or SSC, different names, whatever it may be. Now, if you square like that, it may be negative or positive error. It won't make difference. We can identify what is the situation. I'm getting the sum of squares is 16, which indicates that some issue is there here. So that means if the sum of squares error is 0, then our model is perfect. If the sum of square error is, let us assume, less than 60, then that model is correct. So that means we have to find sum of squares of error. It should be minimum. So our aim is to minimize sum of squares is error minimum. So what is the advantage for this? So for example, if I make one regression line, let us assume L1. So that sum of squares error is 10. If I make one more regression line, let us assume L2, that sum of squares of error is 8. So like that, if we make, so when compared to these two, L2 is the best fit line. So hence we can go for forecasting. We can fix for application, L2 is the best fit regression line. Hence we can deploy for the application. We can go for deployment. So that's why always make sure that the sum of squares, why I'm taking square, if you are not taking square, negative error, positive error, if you make addition, then it becomes 0. It does not mean the given straight line or maybe the given regression line is a more accurate or maybe best fit. Because of that reason, we have to make sum of squares of error such a way that we can identify how much error is there or how to minimize the error. So for that, we have to go for the sum of squares of error. Now, finally, we concluded that our aim is to minimize residue sum of square is minimum. Then that is the best fit regression line. I think the concept you understood here. So what is predicted value? That's why here I given data also. What is actual value? What is predicted value based on the regression line? And finally, we have to minimize the error. That is called sum of squares of error. If we minimize, we can find best fit regression line. Suppose if I find any best fit regression line here, that will be less error. That means sum of square error. Then we can deploy for this for application. That whatever data set I have, for that I can deploy that regression line. Hence, we can predict the future value. So that instead of predicting number of cases 120, maybe my best fit regression line will predict exactly number of cases are 100. So which is more accurate when compared to 120. Actual value is not 1, let us assume. Predicted value is 100, then which is more accurate. So we can go for second type regression line. Why means there we have sum of squares of error is minimum. So that is the basic idea. Now we will see, based on that logic, what I am going to do. That's the question now. For that, we have to make a regression line y equal to a plus bx. How we am going to find? Now we will see. So this slide, if any doubt, you can ask me, you can unmute and ask me, because this concept is very important. That's why I gave so many examples. Now, based on that, how we are going to predict the regression line. Now, I know graphically I explained clearly, there is no issue at all. Now, based on this concept, our aim is to minimize the sum of squares of error. How to minimize? Based on that, how to fit the best fit regression line. Because mathematically, so far I am not explaining. I explained only graphically. What is the mathematical model? I will explain in the next slide. So check it, any doubt in this, you can unmute and ask me. Otherwise, you'll go for further. There we will see how we are going to predict the regression line. Yeah, fine. Yeah. Now, whatever I explained here, same thing here. Now you can see here, I said the sum of squares should be minimum. So this is one data point. This is the data point. This is the predicted data point. This is the data point. This is the predicted data point. This is the data. Whatever points lies in the regression line, this is called regression line. These points are predicted data points. Other data points, D1, D2, this, I mean, other data points are nothing but actual data points. Now we can see the difference with square. That's why D1 square, this is nothing but D1, the error. This is nothing but D3, like that. Whatever I explained, same thing here also I am showing. And we have to make sum of square, that's called residue sum of square. And we have to minimize this one, RSS, sum of. EA means difference, that is called error. EA is nothing but error. Actual data point minus predicted data point. Let us assume D cap. So this we have to minimize. The residue sum of square should be minimum. So how to calculate residue sum of square? We have to find the difference between actual data point and predicted data point. Why we have to do? If you know the error, based on that, is it possible to go for best fit regression line so that we can deploy for the application for accurate prediction? So because of that reason, our aim is to minimize the residue sum of square or sum of squares of residue. Now here you can see we have three regression lines. Now you can understand clearly. So this is one regression line. Let us assume y equal to t plus 4x. So regression line means it established the relation between dependent and independent variable. And here we have one more regression line. Let us assume 2 plus 3x. And here we have one more regression line, y equal to 4 plus 5x. Let us assume. So these are the three regression lines for same data points. Whatever data set I have, for data set I got three regression lines like this. Now I have to find sum of squares of error. I got 28 here. So you can see summation y0 minus yp. P is predicted, y0 means actual data point. I got 20 here. Sum of squares of residue, that is called residue sum of square. I explained clearly what is residue. This is 28 here, and this is 22, and this is 24. That means, so 28, 22, 24, that means minimum error happened here. 22 is the minimum. So that's why this is the best fit regression line. Hence we can deploy, this is the best fit regression line for the given data set. Hence we can go for deployment to the application. So these two we can neglect. Even though these two are also regression lines, these two we can straight away reject. Why? Means when you take y equal to 2 plus 3x, I'm getting more accurate result. That means error is minimum. Hence we can go for this one. So meaning is actual value is, let us assume 5. This model will predict 4. This model will predict 4.5. This model will predict, let us assume, so 4.2. Actual value is 5, but this model 4, this model 4.5, this model. When compared to all these three values, 4.5 is very close to 5. Why it is very close to 5? The sum of squares of residue is minimum, that means less when compared to rest of the two regression lines. Hence, we can deploy this regression line for the application. So this is called best fit regression line. How to find the best fit regression line? Now we don't know what are the values of AB. We know this is the best fit regression line. I evaluated y equal to a plus bx. This is the best fit regression line. Now how to find the AB values? So for that, we are going to apply same logic. The sum of squares of residue should be minimum. So I think now up to it's clear. So we have infinite number of regression lines possible. Whenever if you are making regression line, that is called straight line or maybe linear function in such a way that sum of squares of error should be minimum, then only that is the best fit regression line. Best fit regression line means it will give more accurate y value when compared to the other regression lines, so that we can deploy for the application. So when you deploy for the application, we can predict more accurate values. It may be number of COVID cases, or it may be GDP of the country, or it may be number of accidents in a city, or it may be exam student, number of students passed in the next year, or it may be stock market prediction or Bitcoin prediction, etc. So many applications we have. We can go for more accurate value for the given X value. Now we will see how we are going to find AB value. Now we know the concept is sum of squares of residue should be minimum. That is, so this is the predicted value, y minus y cap. So this is y cap and this is y. This is the actual data point. This is predicted data point. So residue means y minus, just now I explained same thing. This is the actual data point. This is the predicted data point. I have to minimize the error that we done. Sum of squares of error should be minimum. So to minimize, in mathematics or calculus, we studied maxima minima concept. What we have to do is we have to go for partial derivative. That means slope should be 0. So we have two parameters. We are looking for AB values, y equal to a plus bx. Now we should know AB values. How to find AB values? That is the question. I am explaining graphical representation. You can understand easily because everything is clear. But if you come to the data, how can I find y equal to a plus bx? We don't know what is A, we don't know B. We can't randomly substitute AB values because we have infinite number of cases possible. So that's why we have to find AB values in such a way that the function should be, the residue sum of squares should be minimum. So minimization concept, 1 second. అవునా అయ్యో నాకు సెక్షన్ ఉంది మల్లేష్ సార్ తీసుకుంటావా మల్లేష్ సార్ అన్న గిరీష్ సార్ అన్న ఓకే నా క్లాస్ ఉందని చెప్పి సార్ మల్లేష్ సార్ అన్న లేకపోతే ఎవరన్నా గిరీష్ సార్ అన్న ఎవరు ఫ్రీగా ఉంటే వాళ్ళు చూడు యా సారీ సో దిస్ ఈస్ అ ప్రాబ్లమ్ హెచ్ఓడి మీన్స్ మీటింగ్ యా I will continue, no problem. Yeah. So our aim is to minimize the residue sum of square. How to minimize? So in general, when you take calculus, if f of x is a given function, if you want to minimize, make first derivative equal to 0. That thing what we are doing here. But we are using partial derivatives. Why? Means we have two variables. That means we are doing partial derivative with respect to a, b. So that means two independent variables. So that's why we can go for partial derivatives. Ordinary derivative is applicable only for one independent variable. Here we are taking with respect to two parameters a, b. So that's why we have to go for partial derivatives. So now we have to go for dou u by dou a equal to 0, dou u by dou b equal to 0. We have to apply partial differentiation. Why we have to apply partial differentiation? Ordinary derivative is applicable for only one parameter, but here we have two parameters a, b. So we can't do any differential equation like d square y by dx into dy like that. So it is applicable only period. Now dou u by dou a equal to 0. So now this is the partial differentiation with respect to a. So 2 into summation y minus a plus bx into the coefficient of a is minus 1. That's why constant is minus 1. Next line. So this becomes, we can shift this right side so that this becomes 0. So just we have to shift right side so that we got this equation. Now this can be written as summation y. Just we have to multiply summation with the entire equation, summation y minus summation a minus summation bx. So summation a is nothing but NA. Why? We have n data points. So a plus a n time, that is called NA. So that's why NA we have here. So summation y equal to NA plus b summation x. So b outside the summation because which is independent of summation. We are looking for summation only for variables, not constant. So that's why summation y equal to NA. How we got n? So I am taking n data points. So that means n records in the data set. So that's why n a means, so a plus a n times. When you make a plus n times, so that we get NA. So this is the first equation. Now this is equation clear. With respect to a, we partially differentiated. Now we have one more parameter that is called b. So a is nothing but y-intercept, b is nothing but slope. We have to find slope value. That's why we have to go for dou u by dou b equal to 0. Same thing, 2 into, because x squared partial differentiation 2x, that's why 2 into this entire expression into minus x. Why minus x? The coefficient of b is x, that already we have minus sign. That's why we are getting minus x here. So 2 into summation this value into minus x. Here we got minus 1. Why? Means the coefficient of a is minus 1 because we are doing with respect to a. So now multiply with x. So summation y into x here, a into summation x, b into x square, x into x. Just multiply with x for entire expression. So that equal to summation x y equal to a summation x, b summation x square. So this is the second equation. So finally we got two equations. You can see how we got two equation. We partially differentiated with respect to a, so that we got one equation. Why we have to do with respect to a, b? We are looking for the values of the parameters a, b. For that we are doing with respect to a and with respect to b. Now we got two system of equations. By solving this, we can find a, b value. Suppose the concept is like this. So 5 equal to 4a plus 3x dx. Sorry, b. Let us assume 6 equal to 3a plus 6b. So these are the things what we got here. This is one equation. This is one equation. That's why two system of equations like this. 5 equal to 4a plus b. 6 equal to 3a plus 6b. If we simplify, we know how to simplify. Multiply with 3 and multiply with 4. Subtract. This will get cancelled. Will get b value, and substitute b value. Will get a value. You know how to solve system of linear equations. Same logic we are applying here. Once we apply, we can find AB values. So that is the final AB value. So after simplification of 1 and 2, we got B value. This we know how to simplify. Just now I gave a numeric example. After simplification of 1 and 2, multiply 1 with summation x, 2 with n, so that we can subtract. Both will get cancelled A terms, so that B value will get. So which is nothing but summation xi minus x bar into y. This is called covariance by variance of x. So B is nothing but covariance. If you refer any materials or textbook, directly they will give where B equal to. So this is the regression line, y equal to a plus bx, where b equal to this formula, a equal to this formula. But difficult to find exactly how to find these values. So this is the reason. This is called intuition of linear regression. Now, whatever intuition we applied, same thing we can apply for multiple regression, exponential regression, ridge regression, polynomial regression, logarithmic regression, whatever regression if we take, logistic regression, whatever regression if we take, same procedure we are applying. Make sure that the sum of squares of error should be minimum. Now we got finally b value. Now substitute b value in any one of the equation, we'll get a value, that is a. Once if you know one constant, other constant we can find. So finally we got a, b values. Hence this is the final predicted regression line. That if we have data set like this, let us assume x value, y value. I will show example also. We have to find a value. Let us assume 3. B value is, let us assume, of 4. Now the predicted regression line y equal to a plus bx. So 3 plus 4x. So b is nothing but y-intercept, where we have to start in the y-axis. B is nothing but slope. That is the meaning here. So this is the concept. Finally, we got a cap plus b cap x. I think it's clear. So now where we started, where we landed finally. We started a scatter diagram. From that we started how to make a regression line. From that we calculated error. From that we calculated residue sum of error. Based on that it should be minimum. Based on that we come to the mathematical model. From that we have to use partial derivatives. Hence from that we have to go for AB values. Hence we'll get finally estimated or predicted regression line. So finally this is a predicted regression line like this. If you have a two-dimensional xy values, somewhere this is called predicted regression line. So after finding AB values, based on that we can find predicted regression line. So that is the more accurate best fit line. Based on that we can find accurate value of y for given corresponding x value. Once if we find, suppose if a is 4, maybe here we have to start y axis 4, and based on the slope we have to make it, and hence we can find the best fit regression line. So this is the simple mathematical intuition for regression analysis. Whatever I explained, same thing we can apply for any type of regression. That's why if you know basic idea, you know what is the way, so or what is the path. Once if you know path, we can apply for other types of regressions also. I think it's clear. Any queries you can unmute and ask me. Now I will show one simple numeric example. We have x and y. We have to find the regression model that is called like this. So let us assume we have to make a regression model like this. So this is a x value and this is y value. I have to find regression model like this. So y equal to a cap plus b cap x. So that means we have to find AB values. Once if you know AB values, we can find any y value corresponding to x value. How to find AB values? Just now we derived. So A equal to covariance of x by variance of x, and substitute B value, you will get A value, that is called y cap minus bx cap, bx bar. So finally we got A cap plus B cap x. Whatever formulas I given, we have to apply. So A cap, just we have to substitute summation x. This is called covariance x by standard deviation of x, and substitute A value, we get B value, and finally we got A equal to 0.9324, B equal to Ax plus B. So that is the final regression line. So we know these are all very simple. Once if you know formula, whatever requirements for formula, summation x, we have to find summation x square, summation y square, summation xy. Whatever requirements we require, we need, all those things calculate, substitute in the A cap. We already derived what is A cap, and B cap also we have to find. Finally, we'll get regression line. So this is the final regression line for the given data set or data points, whatever x value. Suppose if I want to find the value of y at x equal to 10, up to 7 is available. Maybe future value I want to predict. So substitute y x equal to 10, that is y of 10 equal to 0.93 into 10 plus this value. So that y intercept, so that we can get the value of y at x equal to 10. So this calculation is very simple. You can find anywhere this type of example. But the question is how to find the AB values on the problem. So for that reason only, I gave a full complete mathematical intuition with graphical representation. Now this is the final regression line, what we got for the data points, what given here. You can see here all the data points are very close to the regression line. These are all data points, and these are all data points. The data points are very close to the regression line. So this is the predicted one, this is the predicted one, this is the predicted one, but very close. Suppose if I want to find the value of y at x equal to 9, maybe here you will get. So this is the value. So a little bit we can extend this regression line maybe. So this point you will get. This is the value of y at x equal to 9. That means substitute x equal to 9 here, so that we will get value of y at x equal to 9. Or graphical representation, you can extend little bit, we can stretch that line so that we can find the value of y corresponding to x. Or directly you can substitute in the given regression model x value, we can find the y value. I think up to here clear. Now we know what is a regression, linear regression model intuition with small numeric example. Just substitute all the values in the A, B, you will get regression model. Now the question is how to evaluate, because whenever if I go for predictive analysis or machine learning, deep learning, evaluation is very, very important. Why we have to do evaluation? We have to decide which model is the best model, then we can go for deployment to the application. Otherwise, what happens, for example, let us assume if we evaluate 2 models or 3 models, model 1, model 2, model 3. So let us assume we have same data set, the data set is same, or data is same. So this these models are applied to the data, and this accuracy is, let us assume 99%, let us assume. So this accuracy is 99.3%, let us assume. Sorry. So this accuracy is, let us assume, 89. So we have different models available. We have to apply all the models. Now, when you take all three models, this is the best accuracy we got. Hence, we can deploy for the application. So here, let us assume healthcare application or maybe stock market application. We can deploy to the application. Well, then hospital will take care how to predict number of cases or GDP, how to predict for a stock market, or how to find the Bitcoin price prediction. All those things they will take care. But as a data scientist or maybe as a specialist, my objective is to find the best model, and hence we have to hand over to the people, or maybe we can call it as a customer. Hence they will use the application for the future values. So that's why when compared to these three models, 99.3 is the more accurate. Hence we can deploy the M2 model. But the question is, we have to evaluate. How to evaluate? So I'm telling simply for understanding. But if we take regression model, which model is the best model? Then what are the evaluation measures available? And based on that, how to say this is the best fit model? Hence we can deploy for the application. So for that, I will show two evaluation measures. So based on that, we can find which is the best fit model. So this is one evaluation model that is called means sum of square. So meaning is, so let us assume y value, y cap. Y is nothing but actual value. Y cap is predicted value. That means here 3, this is 4, let us assume. This is 4, let us assume this is 4.5. A simple 2 data points, I'm assuming 2 samples. So n is nothing but number of data points. We have to calculate 1 by 2. So 3 minus 4 whole square. Summation means sum of all the data points error. 3 minus 4 whole square and 4 minus 4.5 whole square. So this makes sum divided by 2. You will get mean sum of square. So maybe root mean sum of square also there. I'm assuming mean squared sum, mean squared error, MSE. So after evaluation, we'll get MSE. So again the question, so how can you say this is the best one? Here MSE value should be always low. Suppose if we have two models, let us assume M1 model and M2 model. So this MSE value is 0.6, let us assume. So this MSE value is 1.4. Then we have to look for low MSE value. 0.6 is the mean squared error is less. That's why M1 is the best model when compared to the M2. So that's why MSE equal to 1 by n. N is nothing but number of data points. Yi is actual data point. Y cap is predicted value. Maybe y cap minus y also fine, because we are making square. 3 minus square or 4 minus 3 square, both are same only. That's why it won't make any difference. If you go for either y minus y cap or y cap minus y, it won't make any difference. We'll get same value. So finally, the MSE value should be less for any model, then that is the best fit model. So this is one of the measure. By using that, we can evaluate the given regression model. So one is R-squared model, that is called coefficient of determination. So that is also one of the measure. So this R-square, we know R is nothing but correlation coefficient, that is defined by R equal to covariance of x by. This is the formula for correlation coefficient. Most of them studied this formula in lower classes. Covariance of x by square root of E of x, that is called standard deviation of first variable, standard deviation of second variable. We have to find R value and make square, you will get R squared value. So maybe other formulas also available, but this is a simple way to remember. So find correlation coefficient between x and y. Always correlation gives the relation between two variables. That's why we are using correlation coefficient. So find the correlation coefficient between x and y and make square, that is called R squared value. If the R squared value is, let us assume 0.9, so the model is 90% accurate. So the model is 90% accurate. If the R squared value is, let us assume 0.5, let us assume, so 0.5 means 50% accurate. The R squared value is 1, then 100% the model is accurate. That's the meaning. That means whenever high R square means that is the best regression line, low means that is the worst regression line. That means we can find high R square for any regression line means that is the best fit regression line. Hence we can deploy for the application. We can see here, if I take here, when you take this example, these are the data points. These are the actual data points, but the predicted line is here. This is the predicted line, so already given here. So these are the actual data points. When compared to the predicted data points, so this is actual means here predicted. This is actual means this is predicted. This is the predicted one. This is the predicted one. So which is not very close to the actual data point. These are all actual data points, and this is nothing but predicted data point. This is called y cap, and this is y. Obviously, the difference is little bit more. Hence, you will get high SSE or maybe high MSE. So mean square error you will get more. So like let us assume 0.7. High SSE or MSE means so the error is more. Low R square 0. Let us assume 5. So only 50% is R square value. That means very low R square means that difference or error is more. When you come to here, next example you can see here. So these are the data points. These are the data points. These data points are very close to the regression line, hence low SSE, that means low MSE value, so mean square error. So maybe here 0. Maybe 0.01, let us assume, and IR square maybe 0.97, 97% accurate. So that means whenever high R square indicates the model is more accurate, low SSE or MSE indicates the model is more accurate. But when opposite, in contrast, high SSE, low R square indicates the model is not accurate. So that's why we have two evaluation measures we discussed. R square value is high means, so that is the best model. R square is 0.98 means 98% accurate. R square value is 0.99 means 99% accurate. So that is the meaning here. So we have two evaluation measures we discussed here. R square. R square is nothing but correlation coefficient whole square. Covariance of x by y, square root of variance x, square root of variance y whole square. That is called R square value. Now you can see in this example, you can see these are the data points and the regression line is this one, and somewhere data point. If you predict this one, this is the predicted data point. This is the predicted, this is the predicted. Actual point is here, predicted point is here. Actual point is here, predicted point is here. A lot of difference is there, lot of error. You can see the error. So that's why R square is 0.02. That means 2% only. So 2% means worst. So that means this is the worst fit regression line. We can straight away, we can ignore this one. But here, if you take here R square value 0.98 means 98% accurate. So that's why you can observe here, all the data points are very close to the regression line. That means that these are the predicted. Here also red ink indicates predicted. Predicted and actual both are close. So predicted and actual both are close. Here predicted a little bit close. Here you can see little bit close only. And here also little bit close. Predicted means the point which lies in the regression line. This is predicted and actual very close. Predicted, actual very close. So that's why we are getting 0.98. So 98% accurate because of the error is very less here. So that means R square value is very less, I mean more, and error is less. That's why 98% accuracy we are getting. So sorry, out of this we can say this model is not at all fit to the application. This model is the best fit. Why means R square value is very high. So this is a way we have to evaluate the given model, and based on that we can say this is the best model. Without evaluation we can't say this is the best model. So without knowing the student marks, how can I say this student is best? So maybe based on the attitude, character, maybe you can say, but it won't work for university. They will ask marks only. So the student having 90% means he is the best student irrespective of other personal things. So that's why our evaluation is percentage. Here also same thing, our evaluation is R square value or maybe MSE value. Low MSE and high R square indicates the best fit regression line. Hence, we can deploy for the application. So you can see this example, all data points are very, very close to the predicted, all lies in the given regression line. So actual data points and predicted data points lies in the given regression line. So therefore, that means actual data point is 4, predicted also 4. Actual data point is 5, predicted also 5. That means R square is 1. So R square 1 means 100% the given model is best. So that means the accuracy is 100%. So in this case, there is no further discussion. Directly we can deploy to the application, whatever it may be application. It may be healthcare, or it may be cyber security, or it may be a stock finance related like stock market, Bitcoin prediction, etc. So directly we can deploy this model because R square is 100% accurate. So this is a way we can evaluate any model, not only regression model. For any model, if we take, we have to evaluate. So based on that evaluation only, we can decide which model is the best model. Now I think it's clear what are the models we discussed and what is the evaluation measure. So if we take case study or research direction, I already said this is a coronavirus data set where we can find our world in data. This is the sample screenshot of the data set. There we can find number of cases, number of deaths, all those things. So if we take this paper, predictive modeling of COVID-19 confirmed cases in Nigeria. So here we are applying linear regression. Here the intention of this authors is they have to find the number of COVID cases in the future. That means in Nigeria, they are considering their country, Nigeria, because all the first two authors belongs to Nigeria. Maybe rest all belongs to USA, Nigeria. So it's a interdisciplinary. Mathematics people are there, statistics are there, computer science are there. That's why these subjects are interdisciplinary subjects. Now you can see here they applied this linear regression. What we discussed so far, you can see y equal to mx plus c or y equal to a plus bx. So whatever we covered so far, that only they are using y equal to a plus bx. This is very simple regression model. Same thing they applied here. Maybe for some data, from data they are applying multiple regression. So multiple regression means maybe they consider number of cases, I mean number of independent variables are more. Maybe they are assuming number of beds, number of hospitals, or number of possibly, I mean, what we can call it as a number of people in isolation or quarantine. All those things maybe they considered as x1, x2, x3 like that. So that's why multiple regression also assumed, depends on the data set. But initially they assume linear regression. So x means day, y means number of COVID cases. Now you can see the evaluation. So this is the confirmed cases 232 and the predicted is 231, very close. So just 0.5 is the difference. And confirmed cases 238, predicted cases are 240, very close. And confirmed cases are 254, predicted cases are 238, very close. All cases are very close, and that's why we can expect R square value is more. You can see here R square, I'm underlining here, R square shows that there is a high accuracy, 97% they got. That means here in this paper they got R square value after applying linear regression 0.97. So that's why here they written R square shows that 97%. That means the actual data points, predicted data points are almost very close. That means here the MSE value is very low and R square value is very high. That's why they got more accurate results. 97% means it's very good. And you can see the graphical representation. So actual one indicates red and predicted one indicates blue color. Both are overlapping. That means almost close. So only slight difference here, slight difference. Rest are all overlapping. That means the regression line is best fit. So whenever if you want to find any future value, we can apply this one because R square value also high and the MSE value also low. Hence, this is the best fit regression line. So this is the regression line. Both are almost overlapping except for few data points here. And even one more, this is the Indian author, so from Kolkata, linear regression. They applied what we discussed, same thing. Both papers applied linear regression analysis only with fine-tuned parameters and regression evaluation measures also. Here also, these people got R square value 0.98, 98%. You can see the R square value 0.98, 98% accuracy for the data set what they considered. So this is published in 2021 only. This is also published in Elsevier only. So R square only they applied. Obviously, evaluation measure is R square. So high R square indicates the best fit regression line. So they got 98% result. So up to here we done. So what is a regression model and what is the mathematical intuition and how to derive the regression model and with examples and followed by what are the evaluation measures, that is called MSE and R square value. And some of the case studies or maybe research direction. Just I have shown the data set available in the our world data, and some of the research papers apply linear regression for predicting the number of COVID cases. Just I'm showing one case study for COVID application. Maybe you can take other research papers for better applications also, maybe other applications also, so that you can find the significance of this regression analysis. And same thing you can consider as a motivation, and you can implement other regression models and you can check it. Here these people got 98%. Maybe you can train for any other regression line. Maybe if you get 99%, then your regression model is better than this paper. So then you can publish this paper. So that's the research one. You can try, maybe we have so many regression models I explained initially. So, but we discussed intuition of linear regression model and all those things. So now we will move to the hands-on. So of course, because of short span of time, I'm trying to cover most of the things, and we will see simple hands-on. And maybe, of course, I'm also not expert in R programming. Just for the one session last week only, I learned this R programming. So I implemented for the regression. I will show now R programming. So this is a statistical tool. By using that, we can implement regression. It's very simple functions only. Maybe within minutes also we can implement this. So why this is R is very powerful for statistical application means, so because of open source we can download free of cost only, and it is it connected with other languages and easy to learn, and we have lot of libraries, packages, functions available. Obviously we know in general whenever if you study any language, general features only, it is easy, it is flexible, it is independent, platform independent, like Java program. Like that here also we have so many features. That's why nowadays for data science, R and Python programs are powerful languages for implementation and easy to implement also, and open source, that is also one advantage. No need to go for any licensed one here. So for that, what we have to do is we have to download R programming. Just I will show briefly. So just you can go through Google, you can download, you can type R download, then you will get initial one link. Then if we click that one, then it will go inside. Then we have to download R 4.02 or 1.2 like that. So when you download this, then you can see this icon in your desktop. So this is my desktop only. So you can see icon. So 4.1.2 like that. So this is the version I downloaded. So just you can type in Google or download, and you can click that link, you can download. After downloading, make sure that the icon should be available, or icon should be available in your desktop. So this is the first step. Next, RStudio is required. RStudio is nothing but IDE. So without IDE, we can't make interface with our programming. That's why we required IDE also. So that's why we have to download RStudio. So this R programming is just like engine to the car, and this is the main what we can call it as a box. What in car we have front full box of equipments. Now that is called RStudio. So this is just like interface with R programming IDE to make a interface with the R programming language. So now we can go for Google, just download RStudio. Without RStudio, we can't execute with program. That's why. So we have to download RStudio, because RStudio is an integrated development environment that is called IDE that provides the interface. So even if you take Python, we have various IDEs, PyCharm, Jupyter, like that. So same thing here. RStudio is nothing but IDE that provides the interface. And R is a programming language that runs the computation. So we need interface as well as programming both. And here we have download free version available, RStudio download. You can click that one. We can rest of the things money not required for you. So just we can say RStudio desktop. You can download that one. So once if we download, so it will saved in the downloads, but not in desktop. If you want to check whether RStudio is installed or not, just you can type search RStudio. You can see like this RStudio app. So that is available, but not in desktop. So it is available in your downloads or maybe somewhere. So maybe documents, but not in desktop. R programming icon is available in your desktop, but RStudio is available somewhere in the downloads or maybe documents. So finally, R programming installed and RStudio IDE installed. Now we can execute. Now when you open R, you can find like this. I will show later. So R script or environment graphical output on console. Here we have to type the R program. Here we can see the output. Here we can see any graphical output. This is nothing but environment. If you suppose if we assign X equal to 10, this value we can see here. So or maybe if you want to import any data set also you can see. So it's not mandatory. So if you want to see that X values, all those things also you can, it is visible. So just like that, history is available here. That's the meaning. But we require two things. One is programming, one is input output, one is graphical representation. If you want to see graphical representation, here only you can see. It may be linear regression or maybe any other decision trees, etc. We can see here only. So here we require few fundamentals. One is how to, because here the concept is X equal to, I will tell you briefly, X equal to 1, 2, Y equal to 5, 6. So this is the given data, simple data. When X equal to 4, what is the Y value? This is the linear regression. So how to do R programming? Simple one I am taking for better understanding. First we have to create a vector for X. Maybe data frame also available, leave it for beginners I am taking. So how to create a vector by using C function? This is the one vector. So we have to make v1 equal to, or this is the back arrow is same as equal to symbol. In R programming, back arrow is using instead of equal to symbol. Even if you use equal to symbol also no issue. So C of 1, 2. So first we have to create a vector C, instead of inside we have to give 1, 2. This is X values. And I have to create one more vector. Let us assume C2. There also I have to go for 5, 6. This is one vector. This is one vector. One vector is, let us assume V1. This is X value. This is Y value. This is the first step, because we have to make a model for this learning model X and Y. This is the data set available. For this we require this one. Now what we have to do is, next we have to make a model. So for that we have to go for a linear regression model, that is called LM, linear model. So this is the function. By using that we can make a model. That means we can find a function like Y equal to 2 plus 3x. Linear function we can find, or regression model we can find. So that's why it's very simple. LM means linear model. Inside we have to give, so formula. What is the formula? Y, X. Y is nothing but response variable, X is nothing but predictor value, that is all independent. So LM, the syntax is LM within bracket Y cap symbol. Y is response variable X. So once if we give execute this command, it will train the model, and hence it will make a model Y equal to 2 plus 3x like this. So for learning that we have to make this linear model. So that's why LM Y X. Y is nothing but dependent variable, x is independent variable. And if you want to read CSV file also fine, we can go for read CSV input, that anyhow leave it, later also we can see. So time being unnecessary, if we go more also we'll get confusion. Now whatever I explained, just I will show one hands-on. So just I'm opening RStudio, you can see here. RStudio I'm opening, you can see here, first I created X, you can just I'm highlighting X equal to 1, 2, 3, 4. You can see top, and Dilip sir, are you able to see my RStudio, sir?
Sir, no, sir. Please go ahead.
One sec. Visible, sir, my RStudio?
Yes, sir. Your RStudio is visible, sir.
Okay, thank you, thanks. So you can see top. So X is a vector. Here my intention is X variable. We'll take 1, 2, 3, 4. How to create this one? X equal to. You can use either equal to or back arrow. We can use, let us assume equal to if you have confusion. Just you can run this one. So here you can see run button. If you run, you can see here clear vector. I am cleaning this. You have brush also here, right side. Clear console. If you click, everything will go. That is called brush. So here also we have brush. If we click this, everything, complete history will go. Yes, if we click this one, so everything will go like that. So now everything is empty only because I cleaned everything. Brush is there. Here we have brush. Now X equal to C 1, 2, 3, 5. Just I want to run this one. You can see in the console editor. So see X equal to 1, 2, 3, 4. This is X value. Now similarly, I want to make Y value. Y equal to 10, 20, 30. You can use either equal to or back arrow. In our programming in general, all the materials are using back arrow. Even if we use equal to also, no issue. Now run this button. You can see the response vector or variable Y equal to 10, 20, 30, 40. I think it's clear. Now we created X comma Y. So that is the X and Y. Now what if suppose if you want to view in the tabular form, this one you can use the command view, that is capital. Here this is case sensitive, that is very important. VIEW view. We can make it as a let us assume for this we require data frame. So let us assume I am assuming X comma Y. Let us assume, let me try X comma Y. Yeah, when you try here you can see values, name, and maybe if you want to view, so let us assume here we require data frame for this. When you view, you can find like a tabular form, X values, Y values. So here let us assume I will use data frame. Just 1 second. The data frame we have to use. So data dot frame frame X comma Y. Let me try like this, X comma Y. So terminated by semicolon, all those things are not there. If you use also, no issue. If you run, you can see here down X values, Y values. Now this I am assigning to some, let us assume V or maybe Z equal to. So now if I go for view Z, VI capital B, that is case sensitive here. This R is case sensitive. Z, that is the variable I assigned. So now let me try. Yeah, Z is not found. So maybe I'm assuming data.z because object. Yeah, let me try now. Not found, data.z is not found. Data.frame X comma Y. Here I'm assuming, let us assume Q. View Q. I'm assuming, let us assume Q. So just we are getting some data, result false, all those things, leave it, no issue. But here you can see when you go for data frame X comma Y, what I applied here, when you go for data frame X comma Y, when you execute this one, when you click run button, you can see down data frame DA, D is missing, D. Yeah. Just run. Yeah, you can see down in the console pan, you can see down X value, Y value in the tabular form. X value, just data frame, that means data dot frame X comma Y. X is independent variable, Y is dependent variable. Now that is fine. Just for displaying I'm using. If not, it's not mandated, just to show the in the tabular form. And now I am applying linear model function. So relation back arrow or equal to LM. This is very important. This is the learning phase. So learning phase means it will learn and it will make a function. lm y cap x. Y is response variable, x is independent variable. So when you click this, so it will learn the data and it will make a model. So now if you want to see the summary of the model, you can see here summary of the model, summary or maybe view relation. You can see here, so all those things, coefficients, residues, intercept, all those things data you can find here because of this linear model here. So just whenever if you want to see summary of the relation or maybe view relation, when you type, we can find intercept, all those things. But here we required learning phase. For that we have to use lm by x, y cap x, it will learn the model. Now, or if we take print summary, so even we can use print summary also, summary relation also. Now this is fine. So now just this I will delete. So now we done learning phase. That means the lm function is useful for to make a linear function for the given data. This up to here fine. Now I have to give new data. For that, how to predict the y value? For that, a equal to data dot frame, I have to give x equal to 6. So you can see here x equal to 6. Just I have to give x equal to 6. That means I have to find the value of y at x equal to 6. And just if we click this one, you can see data frame x equal to 6. So we have to find the value of y at x equal to 6. That's the meaning. Now we have to predict by using the function predict relation. Relation means linear model. This linear model I'm giving in place of relation, comma a. What is a? Data frame x value. This is a function. By using that, we can predict the value of y at x equal to 6. What is the function? Predict, name of the linear model assigned here, lm by x is assigned to relation, comma a is nothing but x value, x equal to 6. Now if we see the if you run this one and it is no error, and when you go for print result, you can see console 16. So 16, that means at x equal to 6, the output is 16. That means we predicted the value of y at x equal to 6 is 16. So this is the way to predict the value of y at x equal to 6 or whatever it may be, x value. Just 4 lines code only, R programming. X equal to 1 vector, y equal to 1 vector. We have to make learning phase, that is called lm by x, and after that we have to give x value. By using predict function, we can predict the value. 5 lines code only. By using that, we can predict the value of y. Suppose if I want to change x equal to 10, let us assume. So let me check what is the print result. So I'm getting 60. Now let us assume previous one, that one. Just I want to predict, run the predict function. Now I will see the predict relation or predict results. 60. And here just I want to exclude this one. I want to run just, or you can run at a time by highlighting all these things also you can run. You can see 100. So just I will clean once again. Just you can click print results. What is the value of y at x equal to 10? We got 100. You can see the console pan. So 100 is the value. So just 5 lines code, and it will give the prediction of y for the given value of x. So reading x and y values, and trying learning phase, that is lm function, and trying test phase, that is predict function. Hence we will get value of y at x equal to 10. So this is a simple R programming. By using that, we can predict the value. Similarly, you can try in free time other functions also. Maybe we have different other functions and libraries are available. By using that, we can view the graphical representation, all those things. Because of time factor, I executed R programming for linear regression. Now I'll come back to the slides. So that is a linear simple regression. You can find code in Google also, no issue, it's very simple. Now I'll come to the resources. So if you are a beginner, you can go for data analytics using R textbook, that is Indian author only, McGraw-Hill publishes. And correlation and regression analysis, you can go through that Thomas. That is very interesting and very good textbook. And your beginner means you can go for R book. This is available in the online also, you can download, and it's a free of cost, but the textbook is around 1300 pages. It's very lengthy textbook. And mathematics for machine learning also try to purchase. Why? Means without mathematics, you can't go for machine learning, deep learning, data analytics, predictive analytics, whatever it may be. We take mathematics is very important. I think today's only we find, I think you can find the significance of mathematics. So the intuitions, all those things are very important. That's why try to learn mathematics, even if you are a little bit poor in probability, statistics, calculus, partial differential equation, all those things. So that was my talk. So exactly 11:35. So if you have any queries, please unmute and ask me. I'm happy to answer. So because of time factor, I complete a little bit fast, especially R programming, all those things. But I covered so many things just in the span of 90 minutes. Maybe in free time, you can go through slowly one by one. Still, you can find interesting facts about these things. So if you have any queries, you can unmute and ask me. I'm happy to answer your queries.
Dear participants, please ask the questions.
If you have any queries, or you can type in the chat box also. I will read and I will answer. So chat box also you can type any queries. Yeah, thank you, madam. Munilavanya. Thank you, madam. Thank you. If anything, you can type in the chat box or you can unmute and ask me. But so many things are covered. You can go through one by one. Still, you can find so many interesting facts about these mathematics, intuitions, and R programming, all those things.
Sir, in chat box, one question is there, sir.
What is bias? No, bias means error. Variance means variation of the given data. So variance trade-off, I have to check, madam. So bias is nothing but error only, residue. Variance means what is the variation of the given data. That's why we applied covariance. So when you come to the R square, where there we applied covariance by variance of standard deviation of X, standard deviation of Y. So variance trade-off means even I have to check, madam, that one. Always will try to minimize the bias, what I explained so far. No, variance is for single variable, Josna madam. Yeah, variance is applicable for single variable and covariance is applicable for two variables. Suppose if I want to find the variation of one student marks, I can go for variance of X. If I want to find the variation of two subjects marks or maybe two students marks, we have to go for covariance. Because we are talking about linear regression for two variables, that's why numerator we are taking covariance of X comma Y. So that is the difference. So extension of variance is covariance. Even you can apply three variables, depends on the application, but we have maximum two variables, what we covered today. So covariance is zero when the variables are independent, because if there is no relation, then covariance becomes zero. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, in multiple regression also will get covariance, madam. Yeah, thank you, sir. Rupali Wagmori, thank you. Whatever I applied, Josna madam, whatever I applied, same thing copy paste for multiple regression. There we'll get three system of equations. So what type of system of equations? With respect to A, with respect to B, with respect to C. I'm talking about two independent variables. Then you will get three system of equations. After solving, you'll get A, B, C. If you are looking for four independent variables, then four system of equations will get. Like that, it will extend. So the basic idea what I given, same thing we can apply for other type of regressions also. Thank you, Rupali madam, for compliment. Yeah, thank you. Thank you, Swapna. Yeah, thank you, madam. Thank you for compliment. It was amazing. Yeah, thank you, sir. So because of time factor, still so many things are there to cover, but because of time factor, maximum I covered. Of course, some of the concepts I went, especially our program, I completed within 10 minutes, but don't worry, you can go through slowly, you can understand. Because I'm also beginner for our programming, so.
Yeah, sir. Thank you, sir.
Yeah,
On
welcome.
behalf of SC Venkateswara College of Engineering, Tirupati, and sir, in chat box, one more. Sir, if possible, can you please share the data set?
Yeah, sure, man. Munilavanya, sure, man. I'll share, man. Even I'll share link so that you can download from that.
Yeah, on behalf of SVC Tirupati and management and head of the department and myself, sir, I sincerely very thanks to sir for giving the valuable session for informative session for the audience, and also I thanks to the for sparing valuable time for your time, sir. Thank you very much, sir. But I know the session is very good and very informative and excellent, sir. But if deliver the session, you know the patiently, you are know the what are the time you have taken for the preparing the PPTs and all the things. I know, sir. Thank you very much, sir.
Yeah, welcome, sir. Welcome, sir.